do we mean when it comes to moisture? When it comes to moisturizing your way to hair growth, what exactly are we talking about? When it comes to moisturizing your way to hair growth, what exactly are we talking about? How do you moisturize your hair for hair growth? How is it that some people are able to moisturize their hair and see results, and some people there is no difference? Absolutely no difference at all, whether they moisturize their hair or they do not moisturize their hair. What makes one succeed and makes one fail, it's all in the way that you do your own thing. It's all in the way that you do your own thing. It's all in the way that you do your own moisturizing, and what somebody is doing is going to be different from what another person is doing. You understand? Because your hair is different from somebody else's hair. Your hair, your texture, your routines, your environment, everything about you when it comes to hair care is totally different from the other person. Everything about your hair care is totally different from the other person. That is why you cannot do the same thing the other person is doing. That is why you cannot do the same thing the other person is doing when it comes to growing the kind of hair you desire. So, what are the things that we should consider when it comes to moisturizing your hair into hair growth? We are going to be talking about the sequencing of the hair and the frequency. So today we will talk about the sequencing, and tomorrow, maybe we'll talk about both sequencing and frequency today. Let's see how it goes. So, how do you sequence your hair? The first method of sequencing your hair, that's your moisture and your sealants. Hold on. The first way of sequencing your moisture and your sealants. The first way you sequence your moisturizer, sorry about that. So you sequence for moisture and you sequence for sealing. For moisturizing and for sealing is the LOC method. The LOC method means the liquid leave-in, which is the L, the oil, which is the O, and the C, which is the cream. The liquid leave-in, which is the L, you use the leave-in first, you use the oil first, you use the cream next. I'm going to tell you what you are going to do and how you're going to do it. How you will know which method is right for you. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show that to you later. How you will know which method is right for you. The second method is the LCO. So you use your liquid, and when we talk about liquid and leave-in, the liquid leave-in, right? We are talking about the hydrating mist, the leave-in conditioner. That's what we are talking about. The hydrating mist, the leave-in conditioner. So the second method is a liquid leave-in. Then the next will be the cream, and the next will be the oil. So there's the liquid, oil, and cream. There's the liquid, cream, and oil. So share this live if you're already getting something from it. The next method is going to be just liquid and cream, liquid leave-in and cream, no oil at all, no oil at all. And then another method will be liquid leave-in and just oil, liquid leave-in and just oil, liquid leave-in and just oil. Now, at what point do you know what method to use? At what point do you use the LOC method? At what point do you use the LCO method? At what point do you use the LO method? If you're just joining, you're welcome. Follow us, share this live, and check out our TikTok shop. If you're just joining us in today's live, you're welcome. Just follow us, check out our TikTok shop, and check us out on every platforms. My name is Attila. I'm the founder of Ethnic Hair Care Products. I'm a certified trichologist and a cosmetic scientist. All right. Now, when you have full hair, when your hair is very full, so we are going to divide this class into 4. We are going to divide it into full hair, normal hair, and scanty hair. And then we are going to further break it down into 3. We are going to further break it down into 3 each. So we are going to have 9 categories and what method you should be using in those categories. What method you should be using in those 9 categories. So if you have full hair and thin strands, it's different from what you're going to be using if you have full hair and thick strands. You understand? All right. So if you have full hair and your strands are thin, then you should be using the LC method. The LC method is the liquid leave-in and then your cream. That's all you should be using, right? That's all you should be using, your liquid leave-in and then your cream. So this is all the products you need for your daily moisturizing and sealing if your hair is full and your strands are thin. If your hair is full and your strands are thin, these are the ones you need. Now, if your hair is full and your strands are normal, if your hair is full, if you are watching this from African Naturalistas page, you can also get this on African Naturalistas. So Ethnic and African Naturalistas is the same brand but different names and different countries. If your hair is full and your strands are normal, you need the liquid leave-in, the cream, and the oil. If your hair is full, what you need is LCO. 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 Liquid leave-in, your liquid leave-in, your cream, and your oil. Your liquid leave-in, your cream, and your oil. So when you use your daily hydrating mist, you use your leave-in conditioner, you use your anti-breakage butter lotion, and you use your hair growth elixir. Hair growth elixir. Now, what if your hair is full and your strands are thick? Your hair is full and your strands are thick. At this point in time, what do? You use your liquid leave-in, your cream, and a thicker butter. Your liquid leave-in, your cream, and a thicker butter because your hair is full and your strands are thick, so you need a lot of sealants. Yesterday, or is it 2 days ago, I taught a particular trick. I said the thicker your hair, the thicker your sealants should be, and the lighter your hair, the lighter your sealants should be. Remember, I don't know if you remember. So remember, that's the trick. The thicker your hair, the thicker your sealant should be. And the lighter your hair, the lighter your sealant should be. Always remember that. Now let's move from, we are done with full hair. Now let's move to normal hair. Normal hair is hair that is not abundantly full, neither is it scanty. It's not abundantly full, neither is it scanty. Now all the products I've mentioned here today, I have already put them in the shop, in the TikTok shop. So if you want to get any of the products that I've mentioned today, just go to the products there and you will see them. Now let's move to normal hair. Normal hair, thin strands. Let's start with your hair is normal, but your strands are thin. Some people will say your strands are fine. Your hair texture is fine. Your strands are thin. Your strands are fine, but your hair is normal. Now that one you can use liquid. If your strands are thin and your hair is normal, then liquid LC is what you want to use, right? So you want to use liquid leave-in and cream. because your strands are thin. If you use liquid leave-in and oil, it will weigh your strands down. It will weigh your strands down. So you want to use your liquid leave-in and just your cream for hair that is normal and the strands are thin. Now, if your hair is normal and your strands are normal, then you want to use your liquid leave-in and your oil. You need to bring the oil back because your hair is normal, your strands are normal. So you use your liquid leave-in and your oil. Liquid is your mist, leave-in your cream and your oil for normal strands, normal hair. If you need to go into a TikTok shop and get any of these products. You can go into a TikTok shop and get any of these products that I'm featuring in this. Now, if your strands are normal, if your hair is normal in density, when I mean normal, I'm talking about density right now. If your hair is normal density, but your individual strands are thick, your liquid leave-in, your cream, and your oil will also do the job. It will also do the job. So the liquid is the hydrating mist that you spray. Then the leave-in is like a thinner, it's a conditioner. It's a conditioner, it's thin. You can see the slip, and it will just slip down easily like this, right? It will just slip down. It has enough slip, right? And it absorbs. But your cream, this cream is a bit thicker. So if this is how we use this moisture to retain length. It's a bit thicker, right? It's a bit thicker. It's not as, this is a lotion. Of course, you can use another cream. This one is a bit thicker. Smells so nice, right? It's a bit thicker. So you use your liquid leave-in, your cream, and your oil for normal hair and thicker strands. Your liquid leave-in, your cream, and your oil. Now let's go for scanty hair. What if your hair is scanty? What if your hair is scanty? What do you do? What if your hair is scanty? Your hair is not full, your hair is not normal, but your hair is very scanty. So if you have scanty hair and thinner strands, if you have scanty hair and thin strands, you are like on the, that is an extreme, you're on the extreme end. Scanty hair, thinner strands. You use your liquid leave-in in very light quantity, your liquid leave-in and your cream, light quantity. You don't even have any business with oil for scanty hair, right? Your liquid leave-in and a light cream, a light lotion, right? If your hair is scanty and your hair density is scanty, and your strands are normal, meaning the thickness of each individual strand is normal, you will still use your liquid leave-in and your cream. Your liquid leave-in and your cream is what you will use. Your liquid leave-in and your cream. Now, if your hair is scanty and your strands are thick, that's like it's something to do because your hair itself is scanty, but the individual strands are thick. You use your liquid leave-in and your oil because your hair is not so full, yet your individual strands need extra sealing. So you use your liquid leave-in and your oil. You use it in that particular scenario. If you have questions, please ask in the comment section. If you have questions, ask in the comment section. If you have questions, ask in the comment section. If you have questions, please ask in the comment section about how you should be about your own hair. I'm here to answer you. Once again, before we move on, I just want to introduce myself again if you're just joining. My name is Atilola. I am the founder of Ethnic Hair Products, the founder of African Naturalistas, the founder of the Good Hair Tribe, the founder of Pure Formula, where we manufacture for other brands, and the founder of The Trichologists. Right? I'm the founder of The Trichologists. So, thank you for joining. I hope you're able to go and check up our TikTok shop and get these wonderful, fabulous products for yourself. Alright, let's move. Do you have any questions thus far? Let me know before we move to the next section. Do you have any questions thus far? Since you have no questions, okay, let's move on. If you have any questions at any time, please ask in the comment section. If you have any questions at any time, please ask in the comments section. If you have any questions at any time, please let's ask me. Right, let's move to the next. Now we just talked about sequencing. Now let's talk about frequency. Because we talked about using the sequencing to grow your hair. Now let's talk about sequencing. If you are in cold weather, if the weather is very cold, so we are going to be looking at cold weather, normal weather, and hot weather. Those are the three weathers we are going to be looking at. Cold weather, how do you moisturize? This sequencing I've taught you. How do you do it when it is cold? How do you do it when it is normal? How do you apply it when it's hot? And that's talking about frequency. So we are going to be talking about humid and dry weather. So when the weather is cold and it is humid, it means it is cold and humid. It has a lot of water in the air. Then you have to moisturize once a day. Moisturize and seal once a day. When it is cold and humid, once a day is okay. However, if it is cold and dry, if the weather is cold and dry, you have to do it every morning and every night. Cold and dry is like winter in a very harsh part of Europe. That's cold and dry. That's very bad for your hair. So you have to do your LCO twice a day, morning and night, because your hair is going to take in everything, absorb everything, and you need to do it twice a day. Now, if you have normal weather, meaning it's not cold weather and it's not hot weather, just as it is in some states in the US right now, and some sub-Saharan places right now, it's not very cold and it's not very hot. The weather is just normal. So if we have normal and humid weather, right, we can moisturize, guess what, once in 3 days. Once in 3 days is okay, as long as you moisturize properly and you seal properly and your hair has absorbed all the moisture and is well sealed in. Even once in 3 days is very okay, because you also do not want to overly moisturize your hair. Remember what I said in yesterday's class when we talked about hair growth fatigue, when your hair is overly moisturized. When we talked about hair growth fatigue, so normal and humid once in 3 days is okay. However, normal and dry, when the weather is normal and the atmosphere, the environment is dry, of course, you need to moisturize more than normal and humid, right? Once in 2 days is okay. Once in 2 days is okay for you to apply your mists, apply your leave-in, your cream, and your oil, depending on what you built in the previous section. Now, if you have hot weather is the other extreme of cold weather. If you have hot and humid, you have to moisturize once a day. If the weather is humid and if the weather is hot and the atmosphere is humid, once a day is okay. Now, if you have hot and dry weather, the weather is hot and it's dry. I think this is the worst of it all. This is what happens in some northern African countries. It is hot and it is dry. Your hair will break if you do not care for it well. Every morning and night, whatever method we have chosen in the previous session, you have to apply it every morning and night for hot and dry weather. So let me run through it once again. Welcome, Pure Growth. I hope your growth is hair growth. Let me run it once again. Cold weather, normal weather, hot weather. Cold weather and humid once a day. Cold weather and dry every morning and night. Normal weather and humid once in 3 days. Normal weather and dry once in 2 days. Hot and humid once a day. Hot and dry every morning and night. So these are the tips and tricks for sequencing and frequency moisture for your hair. For sequencing and frequency moisture for your hair. All right. If you have questions, ask before we say bye. So you can always get any of the products we mentioned here. We mentioned the daily hair mist today. We mentioned the leave-in conditioner. We mentioned the anti-breakage butter lotion. We mentioned the hair growth oil, and we are going to mention some more products. So you can get any of the products mentioned in the TikTok shop. And if you are with us on other platforms, check the caption for where to get these products. Till I come your way again. Bye. Since you don't have any questions, I guess we'll see another day. Bye. Get the products in the shop.